we both have lists in front of us. I have
Yes,
mine.
there's
I do
a
have
lot of info.
Oh my Lord, you've gone down a rabbit hole, sir.
Well, we
Welcome everybody to another episode 2 of Balking Points, the baseball show for the average fan. I am one of the hosts, Trev, and I am joined by the other host, the nearly internationally famous Scotty. Scotty, welcome this
hey
evening.
hey nice chat.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Actually, I threw it on and went to the gym earlier, and then haven't taken it off since. So,
Perfect. Perfect. I
I
like it.
actually we got it the year we were there. We did the double header for my birthday.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
So, yeah, that was fun. So on this episode, we decided to do our way too early predictions for. We're going to do the MVP and Cy Young. Um,
Yes,
we both have lists in front of us. I have
yes.
mine. I do
There's
have ES.
a lot of info.
Oh my Lord, you've gone down a rabbit hole, sir.
Well, we can't afford a statistician yet, so
Well, yeah, that's true. I have my fake bubbly in hand, and I
very
got
good.
the ESPN stats, you know, pulled up. So I think we're ready to
Perfect.
go.
Perfect.
How do you want to do this, sir? We didn't really discuss anything beforehand.
No, no, we usually
No,
don't.
we usually don't. We decide
We
what the
usually don't.
topic is, and then we're just
Yes,
gonna roll with it.
I like it. Shall we roll with like American League first, and then
Yeah, yeah, we
roll
can
over
do
to
that.
National League?
Yeah. Now, so MVP or Cy Young first?
Cy Young's at the top of my list.
Let's go there. Do you want to just kind of like you want to do your top five first?
Favorites?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now, is this
So
like top five in order? Because I actually went top
no,
five in order where I think
did
they're
you? No,
actually, yeah.
I did like four, and
Okay.
I not necessarily in order,
Okay.
but I guess they're kind of in order because they're the ones that I thought of first.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. So yeah, not necessarily in order, but okay.
Yeah.
What do you got?
My top four:
Mm-hmm.
Cy Young, Nestor Cortez from the Yankees,
Oh, okay. I don't have
Framber
him.
Framber Valdez from Houston,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Dylan Cease from the White Sox,
Mm-hmm.
and Garrett Cole from the Yankees.
Okay. Little. So I have some familiar faces. Why don't I give you my top five and then we can discuss this a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so my top five, I put number five because I just think they're gonna put him there is Otani.
Yeah.
I don't see him having a bad season. I see him having a good enough season where people are gonna talk about him. Uh yes, the gentleman from Houston, I
Yep.
do not. Yeah,
Valdez.
Valdez. Yes, we'll go with
Yes, sir.
Valdez. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Valdez. And then number three for me is Shane McMahon from the Rays. McHannon.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't. Yep. Number two for me is Dylan Cease from the White Sox.
Okay. Yeah.
And then number one, I have Alec Mahat. Well, I am terrible at names, so I apologize, everybody. But from Toronto.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at him as like a fifth one.
Yeah, I
So
actually have him. I have his stats in front of me. It's Manaho,
nice.
maybe that's how you say it. I'm not great at last names, so anybody want to
No.
correct me? I'm not ashamed to admit that I butcher names, not
Sure.
intentionally. So, so let's
Yeah.
talk about this. You had
I got Cortez,
Cortez from the
the
Yankees.
Yankees. Yes, sir.
Let me pull him up.
I don't know why I looked at him first, but I remember watching a game late last year. It
Mhm.
might even been a playoff game, and he just dominated, just start to finish.
Okay.
And like he has the stuff to be able to do that.
Trying to find his stats here real
Yeah,
quick.
he finished eighth in the voting this year. So not like
Nestor Cortez. There we
yeah.
are. All right. So quick rundown on stats because we haven't hired our statistician yet.
Nope.
Let's see. So he just turned 28. So he'll be 28 this whole season. 5'11", 210. So he's a pretty stout guy. Let's see. Was this his first season? No, this wasn't his first. Okay, so he's played on a couple of teams.
Correct.
Played Baltimore, New York, Seattle, New York, New York. Winning percentage last year was incredible. So, WAR 4.2, ERA 2.44. So he had a pretty stout. I
yeah, and you
mean,
figure he's pitching in that ballpark. Or,
yeah.
Of course, I don't know how many times he pitched there, but that's pretty darn low for.
Yeah. 0.92 WHIP. Innings pitched 158.1. 163 Ks. That's a good K season. So yeah, coming off of that, I could see where you're building.
Yeah, I think my thought was more along the lines of I watched him play, and he just had that look of he could just dominate an entire game, kind of like a JV did last year.
Kind of like JV did last year. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So my pick,
Yes, the guy from Toronto,
the gentleman from Toronto, he's a youngster. He literally
he was quite the ways up there on Cy Young voting last year too.
He was like fourth or something, fifth, something like that.
I know he was not top three because he wasn't on the voting broadcast, but
so this was his second year in Toronto. And this last year, let me give you a little of this. So he literally today was his birthday, and he turned 24. Ooh. So he's very young. He's 6'6", 285. So he's like Aaron Judge type build.
So I didn't realize he was.
Yeah, he's yeah, like a stockier Randy Johnson type, but look at this, and I didn't see a ton of Toronto stuff, but I'm very high on Toronto this year, and that will come into play later in the season when we do our way too early who's going to win the division picks. Sure. But I like this. His WAR was 5.9, ERA 2.24, WHIP 0.99, innings pitched 196.2, which is that's a pretty good year.
That's a lot.
180 Ks with only 51 ball, so walks. I think, if that was what he did last year at 23 years old, I just could see this guy coming out next year in a division where I understand you play the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Well, sure. And I understand
how many times you're going to actually pitch there, though.
Right, but you're going to be playing, a beat up Boston who we've talked about already that just,
isn't there.
Yeah, Tampa will maybe make the playoffs, but I just don't see them being all that great. But Baltimore, well, they're, awful. Unfortunately, they're not going to be.
I mean, they're not going to be nearly as bad as Boston, but
no, but they're not going to be good. So I just could really.
They're not quite there to contend yet. Yeah.
No, but I could just see with these stats that he pulled last year, as I was doing my research for this, I started looking at Toronto a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and they're a very interesting team to me right now.
Sure. Yeah. So just like any other team, as long as they stay healthy.
But so that is my pick, Alec.
Okay.
Manoa, I don't know. Manoa, I apologize if
Well,
somebody can tell me.
if you're picking him to win a Cy Young, you should at least learn how to like pronounce his name.
Well, unfortunately, I've never heard. I need somebody to usually say their name so I can understand it.
Gotcha.
But all right,
Cool.
yeah, my NL pick is even better. At least the first name I can say.
Perfect.
All right, do you want to let's
You
you want to run
how
down
many
your
how
NL
many
picks?
underdogs? Well,
Oh,
let's
you
just go
haven't.
down AL.
Okay, go ahead. What do you have for your underdog for AL?
I have two of them.
Okay.
One of them maybe not so much an underdog. Luis Garcia from Houston,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
kind of under
Very.
the radar. He was behind Verlander. He's
Mm-hmm.
behind Valdez. In some ways behind McCullers as well. But you look, he had he was 15-8 last
Mm-hmm.
year. Pitched 157 innings. The ERA was kind of high, 3.72, but he had 157 strikeouts and 47 walks, and imposing batting average of 222. So you get those other numbers kind of under control. You can certainly get a couple more wins, a little better ERA. And he's already on a team that's built to win.
Mm-hmm.
So my other one was Cal Quantrill from Cleveland.
Oh, I looked at him. I looked
Mm-hmm.
at him hard, man. Like he was like, I was having a hard time not putting him in my top five.
Yeah, like he was 15-5, 186 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of low on the strikeout, low walk, mid range ERA, but he's going to be pitching in a exceedingly weak division a lot. Certainly could hit those numbers again. And if he has a little bit higher strikeout rate, I think he could be in the conversation. And obviously, not somebody that most people are going to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mhm.
So I have two. One is not far fetched, like possibly what
Mhm.
I think I liked Garrett Cole, of the Yanks. I mean, just his strikeouts last year were insane.
Sure.
It's just overall he's a good pitcher. I think gets that ERA down just a little bit and has a couple
Mhm.
more wins with add those strikeouts to it, and it's kind of a lock
Mhm.
deal. So it's
Yeah, I mean that's why I had him in my top four because
right. I
I
didn't
figured
because
you would.
the other one though I guess would be my like throw out one because I'm intrigued by this team this year who could do something is Martin Perez with the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
Now he
So you didn't
was
take like Evaldi or
no,
any of
no,
the other
no,
guys.
no, no. I'm going with Perez, and part of it was is because I looking at his ERA, which is one of my like when I look at stats, it's
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite stats with pitchers. Um,
Yes.
and he had a 2.89 ERA last year, which was 14th in the league. I
That's not
think
bad.
Texas is going to be a lot better this year
Mm-hmm.
as a team defensively. I think they're going to win a lot more games. I think they're going to make Houston work for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still thinking Houston for that division, but I don't know. I'm going to do a little more
Yeah, that could be
research.
certainly a large three-team battle for that.
Mm-hmm. But I think somebody like Martin Perez could come up with like a 2 ERA this year or a 2
Mm-hmm.
2 with a lot of wins and some strikeouts. And,
Yeah. Well, I
it,
mean, like I think unfortunately, like the voting for that, most of them are looking at the win quantity first,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Well, I
before
mean, a
looking at
little
the
bit
other.
though for JV this year, I think though, having
Mm-hmm.
that 1.75 ERA
That
just
yeah, but I mean, he also won like 17 games too, 17
18 and
straight games.
4.
Okay, there you go.
I have the stats pulled up
Okay,
here.
perfect.
Yeah, I'll be the
Yep.
statistician for this evening. So
I like it.
but all right. Well, there we are.
Cool. Those are some good picks.
I mean, one of them's got to win it, right?
Oh,
Or not,
absolutely.
or
You got,
not,
7 people on there. Should
right? All right, sir. NL, who do you got?
NL Cy Young.
NL Cy Young, yes.
All right. I got number 4 is Max Fried from Atlanta.
I didn't put him on here, and I want to talk about that later for why.
Fair enough. Number 3 was Julio Urias from Dodgers. I think he finished second last year. Number 2, I got JV. I think Verlander's going to have another good one. And number 1, he's gonna duplicate it. Sandy Alcantara.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Alcantara, sorry.
Our 2 and 1 are the exact same.
Nice.
And I didn't that was the same thing. I think JV has a step back here a little bit. Only because that division is very, very difficult. Yes. But I put Sandy in at number 1 as well. I just think that's a good division to just go down and just and I watch
he's got that same look about him as Fernandez did.
He's passed. He's young. He's 27 years old. 6'5", 200 pounds, this says, so he's lean. Looking at last year's stats,
I mean, they were really, really good, obviously. Because
WAR was 8.1, ERA 2.28, WHIP 0.98, innings pitched 228.2. That's some games. 207 Ks on 50 walks, so that's pretty good. Overall, just a solid year. 14 and 9. That's the thing.
I think they looked at him as that team's obvious workhorse, and they're still middle of the pack type team. So the voters are like 14 and 9, not terrible. A team like that where he's going to have to go out there and pitch every day and pitch basically a shutout every time to be able to get a win.
Yeah, I looking at Miami, which was a 69 and 93 team. They win 10 to 15 more games this year. With them getting 4 or 5 of those, even 3 or 4 of those, with those similar stats, and it's a lock for the Cy Young.
16, 17 wins.
Yeah, it's a lock for the Cy Young for him.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody has an outrageous year somehow.
Yeah.
Kind of his to lose.
Yeah, somebody comes up like that year JV won 22 games and was just pitching out of his mind.
Yes.
But I want to get back to Atlanta.
Okay.
The reason I didn't put him on the list was I didn't put him on the list because I looked at that division and I said, ooh, it is going to be hard for a Cy Young to come out of that division with those bats.
Sure.
I mean,
our top 2 are coming out of that division.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking, you have the Mets and the Phillies. It's, and then, you're also looking at Miami. I don't see that. That is the reason.
I know you forgot about Washington, but
they're not going to be last in the league this year, sir. I'm hoping out for the best for the Washington fans. I got like a soft spot for them for whatever reason, but I do.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I'm a Cubs fan and I lost so many years in a row that now I
Maybe.
feel
Yeah.
for other teams. Like,
That's nice. Yeah.
it's like a support group that we've built.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I only have one kind of possible outside, like, and it's not outside the realm of possibility that this guy
Hmm.
could win the Cy
Okay.
Young because he's won it
Okay.
before. But
Okay.
I threw in Scherzer as kind of my
Okay.
outside. The only reason
I
I
thought
didn't
about throwing him in there, but I didn't.
the only reason I didn't 100% put Scherzer on the list was because I was concerned with Scherzer's health.
Well, yeah, that's
He's just kind of been
certainly a concern.
he's kind of been up and down a little bit over the years,
Hmm.
and when he's on, he's the best.
Oh yeah,
But
and I think there's going to be a little bit of a internal battle between
mhm,
him and Verlander
yeah, because I
to
mean they're
see,
both top
you
dog.
know, out. I think they should have like a locker there at the down the dugout so they can each use one because
Yeah,
they're going to need it. Yeah.
yeah, the geriatric team.
Yes.
Yeah,
Geriatric team.
yeah. Do you think they put a G in the middle of that M?
That'd be awesome.
Or maybe they switched the logo to a walker.
Electric scooter.
Oh, electric scooter, even better. Oh, sorry, Mets fans, you're taking a beating this year. I hope the money was worth it.
No kidding. No kidding.
Do you have your dark horses for
I got a couple of them, and like I wrote them down without knowing like the Cy Young voting from last year,
Mm-hmm.
so they're kind of not really that under the radar.
Okay.
But Aaron Nola from Philly, I did
Mm.
not realize that he finished fourth
Oh, okay.
last year because he had an 11-13 record, which surprised me for being fourth place.
Um, you have a ZRA?
325,
Okay.
but he had 200
Yeah, there he is. 23rd in the
200,
league.
yeah, 235 strikeouts and 29 walks.
Yes,
That's
he did.
ridiculous.
Oh, okay. That's
He
why
had
he
the
ended
he
up
had
with.
this yeah, he had the second most innings pitched in
Mhm.
the league and on a team that went to the World Series. Also, he's in his free agent year.
That's going to come up
So,
again in my MVP thing.
yes. But
Mhm.
yeah, like I was looking at his stats. I'm like, holy cow, he pitched really well. And then I found out that he finished fourth in Cy Young. I'm like, oh, well, he's not really that under the radar, but he kind of is because of his record. But you figure you take 5 of those losses and make him wins. All of a sudden, he's 16-8.
I
That's a
like it.
significant difference. And my slightly more under the radar one is Yu Darvish.
I looked at you a few times
Mm-hmm.
and I passed
He
him
finished
up.
eighth. He finished
I
eighth.
know. I know. And I have.
Like his numbers were really good, and he is also in his free agent year, although he's considerably older than the other ones.
Yes. Yeah, I looked at you a few times. San Diego, that team is going to get brought up a lot
Yes,
this year.
yes,
Um, More to come on that though.
correct.
So
Yeah, so I think he's kind of more of the more under the radar than Will is, but sure, if he goes out and pitches like he did last year, maybe a slightly lower ERA, I think he should be in the conversation.
I like it. All right.
Sweet.
MVP.
MVP time.
MVP.
American League.
Yeah.
Going back. Yep.
All right. Uh What do you got?
Number 5.
Okay.
Jordan Alvarez, Houston. Their designated hitter. Number 4 is Vlad Guerrero from Toronto. Number 3 is Otani, even though I think he's going to get traded before the deadline.
Still could win the MVP.
Still could win the MVP, yep. Number 2 is Judge. And number 1 is Rodriguez from Seattle. Julio Rodriguez.
I like it. I like it. So mine is a little different. We have 2 and 3 the same though.
Okay.
So I also put Judge.
I think you got Vlad at number 1, don't you?
No.
Okay.
I went so far out in the left field on this one, sir, that actually it was a shortstop. That's
okay.
But number 5 for me was Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. 4 was Nathan Lowell from Texas. I'm liking Texas. Otani for number 3, Judge at number 2, and then a very young shortstop who impressed me a lot from Toronto, Bo Bichette.
Okay.
I honestly, so he's only 24 years old.
Yeah, I think my guy is Julio Rodriguez is probably that or younger.
Right. I think Toronto is going to be a very good team this year. I like the numbers he puts up. I like the way he plays. I'm like, this almost could be like that perfect moment, where he just and there was one thing that I really liked about him when I was looking at his stats for this year. So he played 159 games this year, which is really good. He had 652 at bats with 155 strikeouts, which I really like that number. 189 hits, which is big.
That's really good.
24 home runs. So obviously he's not like.
Well, he's not the big power guy.
Not the big power guy. 93 RBIs, but it was the 189 hits. And then I was looking at his at bats to strikeouts.
What's his average?
He was 290 this year.
Okay.
So at 24 years old, he'll be 25 in March.
Yeah, I think there's kind of the same reasons I picked Rodriguez.
Sure.
Very similar. Of course, they didn't bring him up right away because he was a rookie. But in 132 games, he had 228 home runs, 75 RBIs, 145 hits, and a 284 average. Add another 30 games onto that, you're talking over 30 home runs, over 100 RBIs, roughly the same as Bichette as far as hits go. I think him and Bichette seem to have a pretty high strikeout rate, which they're going to have to get under control a little bit. But certainly 2 really good young players that
could possibly
definitely have a chance.
Yeah, and the league seems very high on shortstops right now, so this could definitely be something that. So I just wanted to do something different, partly too.
I'm good with that.
I'm like I said, I'm very high on Toronto right now, early season anyway. So. Yeah.
Yeah, early. Who knows where Korea is going to be playing season?
Well, yeah. So, and then
under the radar folks.
I don't really have.
No.
I've
got two really good ones.
The only thing is like my only thought is Aaron Judge could go off and I could be totally wrong, and he can win the whole thing again.
Sure.
But what do you got for your 2 good ones?
Corey Seager.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Texas.
Texas,
You
yeah.
know,
Texas and
you know,
Toronto are probably going to get brought up a lot this year.
yeah. You look at his numbers; they're ridiculous. Like 33 home runs, RBIs were low with 83. The average was low as well, 245. I wrote down here that teams can no longer employ the shift this
Mm-hmm.
year, and he apparently fits very much into the shift. So you see that average going up another 30, 40 points with that kind
Okay.
of power numbers. He obviously has the game to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of them. And my
Uh,
other one that was kind of sort of, I'd say, further off the beaten path, Kyle Tucker from Houston. Maybe I like him because he doesn't wear batting gloves.
you know, I
But he's uh, he's been really good.
yeah,
Now, last
107
year,
RBIs, 30 home runs
mm-hmm,
last year.
yeah, 257 average, which is a little low, but
Yeah, I
year
remember
before,
him in the
year before,
playoffs.
year before he batted 294 with 30 home runs and 92 RBI. So he's been very consistent, and like I know he falls behind Bregman and Altuve and Alvarez on most anybody's list um, with regards to Houston, but those numbers kind of speak for themselves. And if he puts up those kind of numbers again, I think he should get some kind of recognition for that.
Well, he's only a week away from turning 26, so that could be one of
Mm-hmm.
those where he matures into it this year and really starts
Mm-hmm.
playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
So, okay, on to the NL then.
Yes, sir.
What do you got?
Top five.
Mm-hmm.
Francisco Lindor, Mets. Number five. Number four, Nolan Arenado, St. Louis. Number three, Freddie Freeman, Dodgers. Number two, Juan Soto, Padres. And number one, Manny Machado, Padres.
Okay, so this is interesting. Uh I have number 5, Paul Goldschmidt from St. Louis. 4, Freddie Freeman. 3, Manny Machado. 2, Trey Turner. And number 1, I'm putting Juan Soto. So we have very similar picks, just a little
Yes.
different in the order.
Yes.
Let's where do you want to start
I
there
don't know.
though?
I don't know. I'm liking Machado. I really
Machado
am.
is good, isn't he?
Dude, like he was second last year, and like it's been year after year after year of being impressive,
Mm-hmm.
wildly impressive. Um, it's hard. It's hard to look past the consistency and not say that he should be able to. And like Soto, wildly good. His average has got to get back to being way better,
Mm-hmm.
to really being in that group. I mean, I have him second anyway, and for good reason. But like his RBI number was really low. His
Yeah, actually,
average was pretty low.
yeah, I have it right here. He
His
was
242.
242, 27 home runs, 62 RBIs. Um, yeah, it was definitely off last year. Uh, he's 24,
Mm-hmm,
so potential there. I know this is like the big year for him.
mm-hmm,
The reason I put him 1 is because I don't know, I kind of believe in baseball magic sometimes, kind of like the Aaron Judge season we just went through,
Sure.
where he, didn't bet on himself, denied on the contract,
Mm-hmm.
went big, and and got paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this part of me that kind of wants to see it again in Juan Soto, and,
Sure.
so I put him at
I mean,
one.
I can get behind that. I can.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason I have him at 2.
right.
Yeah.
Now I put Trey Turner at 2,
I looked at him, but you know,
but hear me out, and this is the reason why I did it. Uh Bryce is out for
mhm,
probably the first half of the season.
sure.
A lot of opportunity, but that lineup is still deadly,
Still really good.
even
Yep.
without Bryce Harper
Well, you're
in the
talking
line.
they still have Schwarber, they still have Castellanos, they still have Real Muto.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've got all these pieces in there yet that are really really good.
So I say if Turner has an impressive defensive year and puts up great
Mm-hmm.
quality numbers, he could make some waves with the MVP people.
Sure.
Um,
And
and,
the Phillies
and the
in the running,
Phillies,
yeah,
yeah, and the Phillies end up doing what I anticipate the Phillies end up doing this year.
sure.
Um, so that is my thought with him,
Yeah,
and it
I
was
can't argue with that. You know, they're
and it was hard to put. Like, I don't even want to put Manny at 3. I was just kind of like, like, if any one of these 3 to me could be in any order.
oh, absolutely.
Manny could be 1, Juan could be
Mm-hmm.
3, Trey 2, Trey 3. It doesn't matter. Like, any of these 3, like, I will not be surprised if, though, like, at least Juan Soto and Manny Machado, if they're not like 1 and 2, 2 and 1, whatever, I won't be surprised at all.
Yeah, no, I said same thing here. You know, all these guys that I had on there, like they legit could win it with slightly better numbers.
Mm-hmm. I only have one completely out of this world, no chance it's ever going to happen, but I'm going to say it
Really, I know
anyway.
my 2 are probably chance never going to happen, but
All right,
I
what do
have
you
good
get?
reasoning behind it. I'll let you go ahead with
Oh,
your one.
okay. My one is Schwartz.
Okay, I was kind of
I
wondering.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? If Judge doesn't have and we've talked about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about the fact that Schwarber hit 46 home runs last year.
Correct,
Any
which
other
is
year,
wildly good.
yeah,
Yes.
any other year, and everybody is going to talk about the fact that Schwarber hit
Mm-hmm.
home runs. I understand that Bryce Harper was kind of their like playoff guy, they
Mm-hmm.
got him,
And
but
he was the name, but
he's the name. But go back and look at some of those games again. It was Schwarbs hitting those home runs
yeah,
in
and
the
he's
playoffs.
been leadoff.
So if Schwarbs hits another
40.
46, yeah, season, and his batting average looks a little bit better, and
And
the Philly,
that's the part that's gonna hurt him the most is the
correct,
batting average.
correct. But if he does it again, it's going to be hard for people not to look at him. So that's
I kind
that's
of figured that was gonna be your one of your
yeah, that's
picks. So
that's my only one.
I kept him off mine.
I love Schwarbs.
Fair enough.
What do you got?
So I got 2 of them. I
Mm-hmm.
got Jazz Chisholm from Miami.
Oh, you're pretty
Um,
big on Miami this year.
yeah,
Yeah,
uh, he only played in 60 games, so those numbers are different. But in 60 games, he had 14 home runs and 45 RBIs,
those are pretty solid
and a
stats.
254 average and an
Mhm.
86 OPS. Not terrible for a third of the year.
No, that's pretty.
He plays the game the right way. I enjoyed watching him play the little bit that I did actually get to.
He's young too.
Super young.
He's gonna be 25 on the 1st of February.
Mm-hmm. but he's got I don't know, he's got that like drive in him to play really well, and you could tell like at 14 home runs in 60 games is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first under the radar pick.
Definitely
My
got to get the
second
batting
one,
average up a little bit, though.
yes, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. So
And you,
my second one is going to make you happy.
oh, what do you got?
Say a Suzuki from the
Oh,
Cubbies.
Suzuki from the Cubbies.
Yes, sir. Now
I didn't want to be a homer and
I
put
know,
him.
I
I
know,
didn't,
but
but
hear me out on this here.
oh, I'm
Okay,
all ears.
I know you are. Okay, so he only played in 111 games, so he's
Mhm.
going to have to stay healthy. He had 14 home runs, 46 RBI, 104 hits, so almost a hit a game, and 262 average.
Mhm.
Okay. Now I'm going to compare this to somebody else's first year. They played 163 games, had 16 home runs, 106 RBI, 179 hits, and a 287 average. So like you put Suzuki in that many games, roughly on average, with that same thing. This person's second year, they played 162 games, had 174 hits. All of a sudden, the power came with 31 home runs and 108 RBIs. Was an all-star, batted 298. I knew who that was.
Hmm.
Hideki Matsui.
Ah, makes
So
sense.
I was trying to have that Japanese player coming in
Mm-hmm.
second year, a big kind of a good good and good first year, and like make that next step. And I can see him doing that.
I mean, there's a lot of possibility. The Cubs look a
Mm-hmm.
lot better this year. They
Yeah.
added enough pieces. I I did not predict them to even make the playoffs. I predicted them to be about an 80 some win team, though,
Mm-hmm.
taking second in that division, which is very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there's possibility
I
there.
think Suzuki is going to be a very, very big reason for
No, I do too, because when he was out, that's when we had our worst part of the season. As soon as he came
that.
back, we started winning again.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I agree. I love it.
Yep. Big
Boy, that
time
would
sleeper pick, but
big time sleeper pick. Um, so one final thought while we do these like little picks and stuff, I am not gonna sit there and have us try to pick who's gonna be an all-star this year because like that's kind of but one quick question while we're doing these MVP and type things. Do they let Miggy go to the all-star game?
ooh, I don't know. They kind of let him go to the All Star game last year with
Because
Pujols.
Pujols was there. But this is Miggy's last year,
True.
so
Um,
do they let him
but
go?
like last year, he was having a pretty good first half too.
True.
So if he's having another good first half, maybe, maybe
Okay.
I could see them doing that. I'm not sure where it's at this year, but like I can see them saying, hey, this is once in a generation kind of player that's bringing in for another All Star game, just in
Games in
case.
Seattle.
Oh, okay,
That'd be a
so
fun venue.
sure, yeah,
Okay. I was just throwing it out there because like we're picking
yeah.
these top things and I don't know about you, but like to sit there and pick like who's gonna be an all-star this year is like
There's too many.
that's too much. It's
Yeah,
too long and it's kind of a boring topic anyway. But I just wanted to throw in that one thing real fast about Miggy because it is his last year.
sure.
So, but Well, that is all I have for
Yeah.
this evening.
Yeah.
And
That's what I got.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you to our 10 fans. 10 fans now,
10.
sir. 10.
10.
Did you make 10 accounts? Is that
I cannot say that I did.
Yep, we're 10. So if we could get to 11 after this one, that would be great.
That'd be spectacular. Yeah.
So like, subscribe, and we appreciate everybody. And
press all the buttons.
yeah,
down
the
below.
buttons. Yep, press. Thank you. And until the next episode, batter up.